Hey guys, welcome back to the Autohound. Let's get some interesting news out of the way. First of all, I want to say thank you to all of my Autohound friends that are kind of supporting the channel. So this week, I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but we hit 70 subscribers. Looking forward to getting to 100 and thousands, and we'll see how it goes from there. I'm enjoying doing it, so it's been a lot of fun. So let's share some other information that you guys might need to know. If you go to my Facebook group, it's Autohound. So it's pretty easy to find if you go to my Facebook group Autohound. You could communicate with me, check out my latest post. I'm also on Instagram, as you all know. I'm on Twitter under my own handle name, Eric Letson. I'm also on TikTok and one other one. Let's see. Oh, Instagram. So everything's under either the Autohound or Autohound. Pretty easy to find. If you like this type of comment, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. So some interesting news on the Autohound fronts. We are about to put the Porsche away for the wintertime. On November 15th, she'll go away until April 15th. I like to do it on the 15th. Tax day coming out. So dumping a bunch of money into the car when it comes out. So we're going to talk tires today. I'm going to get 4 new tires. I'm going to do the Michelin Pilot Sport 4s. I've done some research on them, and they seem to be the tires that I kind of read the most positive things about. So I'm going to go with those. I'm also going to be doing some modifications as far as the wheels go. I'm going to have them taken off, stripped down, and we're going to have them redone and kind of re-straightened. So hopefully that's going to allow us to have better looking wheels, and not only better looking, but better performing car. When I was on autocross this year, a couple of months ago, as you all know, idiot on autocross, which by the way was clickbait. We'll get into that next. So I was idiot on an autocross. My very first hard turn, I spun the car out, and mostly because of the tires. I hope I'm not that bad of a driver. But for the rest of the day, I did pretty good, but I really want to make sure that I have some positivity going into next season, especially with all the autocrossing. I'll probably be doing 4 brakes as well, along with I should say, doing the brakes, which the pads and the rotors, the calipers are fine. They're in excellent condition. I'm not going to do anything to those. They don't need to be resprayed, repainted. So looking forward to that. So I got a couple of comments this week, and I love your comments, so please keep them coming. And one of which said clickbait when it came to idiot on autocross. Okay, it was clickbait. However, the video has 254 views, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's the most of any video that I've ever done. So the clickbait worked. You came in, you watched it, you saw me spin out in the first 5 seconds of the video. So that was your cue. You could have seen what I did and then clicked off. I really would like people to watch the entirety of the video, get those retention rates up. That being said, I know we don't all have time to do that. I do a very short, concise TikTok video that says go to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be looking at changing some things up on that. So that was clickbait being covered. Right now, I'm sure you can hear my dogs in the background. That's Halloween, so happy Halloween. This is my scary face. Looking forward to having you guys watching the videos throughout the winter time. I'm going to kind of come up with some creative content. I know a few people with some garages who've invited me over to actually do reviews of their cars. I mean, as long as it's not snowing or raining, we should be able to get them out in public. But I do put my car up for the winter. I just don't. I don't know. I'm one of those people. I don't want to drive it and get it damaged or get salt on it, and it's never been in the snow. So why start now? That being said, the next subject we're going to talk about is electric cars, and it's really amazing how far electric cars are coming as far as the marketing goes. We've had a conversation before about how I feel adoption is going to be down the road. We're not going to be having full widespread adoption until these 2 criteria are met. Criteria number 1, you could fill it up as fast as you can when you're gassing up your car. Criteria number 2 is there need to be charging stations everywhere. Well, that creates a problem. And the problem is, what about the resources that that's going to take off of the grid? The grid clearly over the summertime, when it's a really warm day in certain states, they have brownouts or rolling brownouts, rolling blackouts. So as we get to that electrified car world within the next 10 years or so, we're going to need to do some real sustainable energy acquisition. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to have electric cars for everybody. I know that the current administration, not talking politics, but the current administration is talking everybody should drive an electric vehicle. Well, I have a little problem with that because most electric vehicles are between $30,000 and $40,000 or $20,000 if you buy a used one, but they're already pretty much depleted. I was having some conversations with the friends today, and we kind of discussed electric cars, and one of which was why not just stick with hybrid. Hybrid cars are certainly, you know, great on gas. The instant acceleration from the electric engine, and then it goes right over to a gas engine, which is a small little gerbil underneath going after a carrot. Ha ha. So those are the interesting quirks that I'm looking at on electric cars. And once they kind of get that full-fledged adoption, I really think electric cars will really start to take off. But until they resolve those two issues, I just don't see it happening right away. Cost isn't the only factor. There's also this thing called range anxiety. I heard this a couple of weeks ago. I heard it again today. Range anxiety. It sounds like this really bad thing. So if you live where I live in the Northeast, everything is 20 minutes away. I could get in my car. It barely gets warm by the time I get there. Excuse me, my phone went off my ear. So by the time I get to work, my car doesn't have enough time to get warm. So I'm 12 minutes from work. So locally where I live, it's not really a big deal. I could probably charge my car once a week if I wanted to, and go back and forth to work, the 5 times or 10 times in total, and do a couple of day trips and still have more than enough range to get to where I need to be. Now, if you live, let's say, in Ohio, or if you live in Western Massachusetts, if you live in California, everything is more spread out there. I was looking at a really interesting map, today, and it showed the Houston area for in Texas, Houston. It's huge. Houston entire area is the size of the state of Connecticut. So if you've got to go from one end of Connecticut to the other, or one end of Houston to the other, you're talking a very long drive. And that's where the range anxiety comes in. Last year they had record cold snaps down there, and people lost their heat and lost everything in these horrific storms that they had down there, horrific freezing temperatures. There were videos of water pipes bursting in ceilings and coming over ceiling fans and making these big, huge icicles going from ceiling to the floor. That being said, what's going to happen if the electricity goes out down there? Those people still need to get to work. So start the car, rock and roll. Range anxiety is a real thing, kind of in more rural areas. I think that in the urban, urban areas like the city, like where I live, just north of Boston, everything's 10 minutes away, 20 minutes away. So it's a lot of fun to do all that and know that I'm close by to everything. Eventually, we may get a hybrid, but I don't see us buying an electric car. Moving on to my next subject, and I'm kind of going to ask you guys this. What do you guys think of the Autohound switching up to possibly a 2013 to a 2015 Porsche Boxster S? Now, I've done a lot of research on the S versus the GTS. The GTS is the track version, and it has all the bells and whistles. It's 20 millimeters lower to the ground, gets an extra 10 horsepower, 10 foot-pounds of torque. And you get that for the staggering sum of an additional $20,000 over an S version. And I wouldn't go anything newer than the 2015, because in 2016, that's when the 718 came out with a 4-cylinder turbo. I'm more of a 6-cylinder, normally aspirated guy, so that's kind of the direction I'm going in. By 2023, 2024, 2025. I believe that Porsche is going to come out with an all-electric Boxster Cayman platform. I don't see how that's going to work, so I'm going to stick with my internal combustion motor. So if you have any opinions on that, please, of course, just let me know. We've hit the 10-minute mark, so I just went about 50% of the way through our lovely streaming here. Last week I didn't do a stream. I had some things to do. I was down in Connecticut, so it was a longer day for me, and I went to the Greenwich Concourse d'Elegance, and that was sponsored by Haggerty's Insurance. And tell you something, what an amazing event! It's Chris Brewer and a few of the other people that put this on through Haggerty's did an outstanding job. They invited just the right amount of cars. They parked them without having ropes in front of the cars or stanchions, so people could get up close to the cars and actually look at them. There were a total of 4 hypercars there. Koenigsegg, excuse me, I'm sorry, an SVG, a Pagani Huayra BC, a Bugatti Divo, and a McLaren Senna. Those were the 4 hypercars that they had there, kind of on display. They did have a Bugatti Chiron off in the back. It's kind of funny to see a Bugatti Chiron and a McLaren 675 or 720 sitting side by side that nobody even saw. I mean, if they did, they weren't like collectively gathered around them like they were with the 4 hypercars right out front. There were a ton of great cars there, 6 Duesenbergs, a bunch of old Cadillacs, 2 old AC Cobras, the original Carroll Shelby Cobras. There were 6 older Ferraris there, one of which was a 1970 Daytona, fantastic car, and also I believe it was a 250 GTB, not the GT. So nice cars all in all, and a Boxster Berlinetta. There were 6 older cars there from the 60s and 70s. There was a Mercury Cougar, also a 1972 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am, along with a couple of other really neat cars. So it was nice to see those cars. Oh yeah, also I forgot there was a Yenko Camaro, one of the original ones. It was nice to see those cars. There were about 14 motorcycles parked in a circle. One of which was a Morguzzi, some Indian motorcycles, and there may have been one other, I forget what it was, and a whole line of launchers across the very back of the field, which was overlooking the water, a really pretty view. There was a really cool Lingenfelter Corvette, along with a Ford GT, one of the new ones, and also a Mustang GT 500. If you watch my most recent video, you'll see that. The other thing that I did this week is I reached out to Hoovy from Hoovy's Garage. I don't know him from a hole in the wall. I saw he had a video and it said, buy some of my car, he's selling all of his cars. So I've sent him an email, and I'm trying to see if he reaches back out to me to see if, in fact, I could buy one of his cars. I'm not going to share with you what that is just yet, but if I do buy one, certainly I'll be making a video of that, and hopefully he'll say something on his channel. We can get more growth. To be quite honest with you, it might be worth the cost of admission to buy one of his cars. That being said, we've got about 8 minutes left, so I'm going to share with you some other information that I find interesting from the car world, and that is car prices are still going up. I can't explain it. Now there's a chip shortage or no chip shortage. So if used cars are going up in value and new cars are still the same price, they're able to make the new cars, so the chips are there, but then used cars are going up. That doesn't make sense. That sounds pretty sketchy. And I'm calling shenanigans on the car manufacturers, because I really think that while there is a technical chip shortage, they're still able to make their cars. And I think that there is, like I said, shenanigans going on there. Just kind of keep those prices artificially high. It's a really good time to be a seller and a horrible time to be a buyer. So I'm going to share with you, as you all know, I have a 2003 Toyota RAV4. It's got 185,000 miles on it. It goes from 0 to 60 in 4 days. It's got dings and dents, but the car starts and goes every day. If you have a car, let's just say you have a $5,000 or $6,000 repair that comes up. Would it not be cheaper for you to spend the $5,000 or $6,000 to fix what is wrong with your current car rather than going out and spending $40,000 on a used car or $44,000 on a new car? Of course it is. 5,000 versus 40,000. I'd rather have a smaller payment for a smaller period of time versus having that big, huge car payment every single month coming out of my bank account. The only people you make it rich are the banks and the car dealers. So we need to kind of be smart with our money here. So if you're looking at buying a new car, buying a used car, are you doing it for the right reasons? Look, if your car can't get you up and down the street and it's really just a piece of junk, then yeah, you should go and get something that's going to be affordable. Hyundai makes a great car, and I'm not being paid for this, so take it from what it's worth. Hyundai is a great car. They have a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. 10 years, 100,000 miles. If you're like me, you're going to put on 100,000 miles inside of 5 or 6 years, which is still pretty good. By the time you're done paying the car off, you'll be out of your warranty as far as the mileage goes, but not the years. That's pretty cool. So my recommendation would be to go and do that, is go out, buy yourself something that's super reliable, has that 10-100 warranty, so you're not fighting that uphill battle of saying, oh, geez, should I go fix my car? Well, again, your car's a piece of junk, get rid of it. If your car's not a piece of junk, hold on to it. My brother, he was just offered more money than he paid for his car when it was used. So he bought a used car last year. He put a bunch of miles on it, and now they're giving him $2,000 or $3,000 more. Well, that's great. Now, if he could live with one car, that'd be fantastic. So if he and his wife shared a car, that's great. But they can't in this world that we live in. Everybody needs to have a car to go to work. So what do? You put yourself in a position where you could take that money and bank it, but you got to go out and buy another car. And with all the used car values going up, what are you going to buy? So don't buy a used car. Don't buy a new car now. You need to wait, and you need to be patient. Put some money into your own car. It's the cheapest way to go. Let's hope we don't have a lot of expensive repairs coming up, like transmissions or engines or something like that. But in most cases, anything mechanical can be fixed. Rust, that's a different story. We don't talk about rust because rust is one of those things where once you start to rot out, any part of the rocker panels or the floorboards, get rid of the car. It's going to continue to die, and it's better just to junk the thing and get rid of it. So with 2 minutes left, we're going to go into our very last topic, and that last topic is going to be Legos. As you know, I built my Bugatti Chiron back there. It matches the exact colors that I looked at. I was very excited to see it down in Greenwich. I am going to be looking at another Lego build in the near future. I think I'm going to do the 911 RS. So we'll do that, and then that should be a lot of fun as far as just building it. Again, this one took me 16 hours or so. It's very involved, and you got to kind of pay attention to those details. That being said, I am going to wrap up a few minutes early tonight. I really appreciate you watching. I appreciate your time. And remember, I've got a new channel, which is my groups, and those on my Facebook. So just go to Autohound for groups, and you'll find me there. In addition to that, make sure you check out my YouTube page. Like you are, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And also, don't forget, it's about the drive. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.